Malika, Trae Young, the four-time NBA All-Star guard, has the Washington Wizards as his top preferred trade destination. Sources tell me his agents and the Hawks are collaborating on figuring out a trade landing spot. And in the nation's capital, Trae Young would give the Wizards a lead guard for the future. They've got young players. Clearly, they've been rebuilding, but they've got young players that he could build with, and there are relationships that Trae Young has throughout the Wizards organization, specifically with their executive, Travis Schlenk, who drafted Young number 5 overall in the 2018 NBA draft. And so the Hawks now have 3 different paths. One being trading Trae Young by the trade deadline next month. The second path is seeing Trae Young, whether he opts in or opts out of that $49 million player option for next season. If he opts in, he's an expiring contract. If he opts out, that gives the Hawks about $40 million in cap space. So there is traction on a deal. A few days ago, it was agents and players and teams talking, but now there is traction in these trade conversations and his eventual exit out of Atlanta.
All right, so there is not only traction, but there is a top choice where Trae Young wants to go, and that is the Washington Wizards. Shams, thank you. Please do not go too far. We'll check back in with you as this continues to develop. Perk, Chene, Danny Green here. I don't know if I've ever said on this show, at least in the last 5 years, that Washington Wizards are a top trade destination. But here we are, Perk.
Hey, look, back the Brinks truck up. This what this about, right? Yes, you go into a franchise that's going to hand you over the keys, and they've been searching for a quote-unquote star for a minute now. But this is an opportunity for both parties in trade to get max dollars because the Wizards don't have no choice. But I also like the pieces that they have. When we talk about Trae Young, he's a guy that can go out there and get you 25 or 30, but he also is a guy that's going to give you 10 assists and make guys around him better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. He also had Brooklyn on his trade destination in Minnesota, so that's a place that he would want to win. But I'm also thinking he wants to be a place where it's still his team. You know, he wants to win. He wants to obviously get the Brinks truck to back up. But he wants to he's still young enough, still in his prime. He still thinks he can run an organization and be a part of take an organization to the next level.
Yeah, I also think, new year, you get an opportunity to reset, and this is a perfect reset place because he's 27 years old. He's still young enough to be able to have an impact. And let me just tell you, the only way is up. The only way for the Wizards is up.
For Washington.
And also, you think about it, his skill set to make other people better, he will have the ball in his hands. He will be able to score. This is a perfect opportunity for him to maybe try to do something a little bit better and take his experience in Atlanta. And by the way, I like it when it's geographically easy. You know what I mean? Go from Atlanta to D.C. It's not that hard.
Well, in order to make this money work, you would have to think that Washington will have to move on from C.J. McCollum. And we did hear Sham say that this is starting to feel a little bit more imminent. C.J. McCollum has played every single game this year. He is listed as out tonight. Could that be a precursor for this to come even in the next couple of hours?
I've been in those shoes before.
We shall see. How about some shoes that Danny Green's been and his agents? They are working with the Atlanta Hawks on a trade out of the franchise. Now, Young's representatives and the Hawks, they have started collaborative talks over the last week on finding a resolution here. So let's say hello to Shams now. Shams, how do you see this playing out for the 4-time All-Star as we march toward the trade deadline?
Trae Young's Hawks tenure is coming to an end. He appears to be in his final days and weeks in Atlanta after 7+ seasons together as the face of that franchise. And I'm told both Trae Young and the Hawks know he just doesn't fit with the current team anymore. We've seen the Hawks move and turn the page toward this young core of Jalen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels, Onyeka Okongwu. And so both sides now are collaborating on trade talks out of Atlanta, turning the page, seeing where else Trae Young can land to be the lead guard of a franchise elsewhere. And this really started in the offseason when the Hawks decided not to offer a contract extension to Trae Young, and now Trae Young seeking a team that could give him an extension, and also stemming from the fact that the Hawks have played better this season without Young in the lineup. And so here between now and the trade deadline, the Hawks can either move Trae Young, they can wait for his contract to get to an expiring deal in the offseason when he has a player option, or he opts out. That gives them $40 million in cap space in the offseason. But Trae Young appears to be nearing the end of his career in Atlanta.
All right, so a couple of different options about how the end could look here for Atlanta and Trae Young, but it seems that the end is near nonetheless. Shams Charania, the best insider and the best hair in the game. Let's remind folks about what type of player, though, you'd be getting with Trae Young, because offense has never been an issue, right? He averages over 25 points, just under 10 assists in his NBA career, and his 48.1 points scored or assisted on per game, second most in league history, behind only Luka Doncic. The issue, of course, comes on the defensive end, because since entering the league, Trae Young ranks as the least effective defender against ball handlers using on-ball screens. That's according to Genius IQ. And then this season, Shams mentioned the injuries that Trae Young has battled. Well, Atlanta, 2-8 with Young on the floor, 15-13 without him. So I'm here with Shanae Agumake, fresh off her trip all around the world, most recently Abu Dhabi. Is that right?
Yes,
Dubai.
Dubai.
Abu Dhabi.
Mashallah,
You going places.
Marhaba.
You going places.
Danny Green, she's going places, and apparently Trae Young is going places too here, Perk. What are your thoughts? Perk is fired up.
Okay, I got you. Tarsi, can you take my solo shot really quick? Because he wants me to read it, but I'll hold it up too. 25-10.
25-10.
Okay.
That's Trae Young numbers, career numbers. 25 points, 10 assists. Talk about Hall of Fame numbers, if you want me to go there. Talk about a guy that Jersey is going to be in the Raptors. I don't want this breakup to end up like a OKC KD. I need it more along the lines of OKC and Russell Westbrook, right? That's how they need to part ways. And when you think about Trae Young, yes, his time is up, right, when the relationship has run its course, but it's time for a new destination. He's still a guy that is that star slash, knocking at the door of being a superstar that could put butts in the seat, exciting to watch. And I just think it's time for a fresh start. But make no mistake about it, we're talking about a guy that is just scratching the surface of his prime, still got a lot left in the tank. Trae Young is still one of the elites, one of the best PGs in the game today.
And that's why I'm torn about it, because you have someone that is so potent offensively in Trae Young, but defensively is unfortunately at times a liability. If you take him off the floor, their defense, the Atlanta Hawks, improves by 13.3 points per 100 possessions. So that's a great defense. That's a lot of points. And also, I like this idea that I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Danny, Malika, Perk, that 2021 Eastern Conference Finals run kind of lives rent-free in our heads. Like, oh my gosh, they reached success. But that was almost 5 years ago, half a decade.
Sure.
So, the last place that you want to be, I always tell people.
Not half a decade.
I mean, maybe
guess
that's a
we're
little
in
dramatic.
2026, or technically. Oh my God.
I know, right? But the worst place is to be in the middle. And I do think that this team with Trae was in the middle of the pack. They're actually below that because I believe they're 10th in the East. But then moving forward, they're going to build around their young core that is improved defensively, and Trae gets to have an impact somewhere else.
And I don't think the easy thing to do, because of the defensive numbers that we've shown, is to maybe blame Trae Young for the underperforming Atlanta Hawks. But it's more factors than that. Zachary Reese-Shea hasn't necessarily taken the next step that everyone thought that he was going to. Jalen Johnson's defense has slept a little bit. You're looking at Dyson Daniels, who can't hit an outside shot right now. So while it's certainly things that Trae can improve, I think that there is still a player in there that teams should be very attracted to making a deal for.
How quickly you forget, and I'm with Perk. I mean, he's an all-star caliber player. He got snubbed a couple times. Should have been more than 4 times.
Right.
He's great. We haven't seen much of him this season, so we don't really know. But I believe he's still a very good fit. And this is no knock to Trae. Like, he's a very good player. They're just playing better without him. He might not fit with this group. But I honestly think, obviously, it's time. They've been talking about trades and rumors the last couple of years. I think him and Ja swap could make sense. They both just need a change of scenery to me in the bigger picture. But Memphis could use a guy like Trae. Obviously, there's other teams out there too. But he still, to me, is a really good player. We just haven't seen much of him this season.
No, and we haven't. And the blessing in disguise is when Trae got injured, we was able to see the rise of Jalen Johnson.
Yep.
I had to realize just 2 weeks ago that the man is damn near averaging a triple-double. Like, real talk.
You had to filter yourself for a second.
Seriously, and I knew he was a superior athlete, but when it comes down to being able to go get 23 to 24 points a night and drop 8 or 9 assists and make guys around you better, we talk about different type of eliteness.
And don't forget, they still have a pick from the New Orleans Pelicans here, so they could be looking, if they move on from Trae Young, to try to be going and getting and filling that spot if that does in fact happen. But we have seen